I think you're liking it quite as much as I am.
I like the last episode was Sage, but still pretty good.
It's funny because if you and also if you're new, we're talking about Monkey Rush today. This has been a little bit overdue because there's 3 episodes. They're going on 4, and they're in production of that one. Last I checked, they're done with recording. They're just doing all the animation. But Monkey Wrench, for those who don't know, is a little another indie thing going on. TODR, it's honestly just a derpy cowboy bebop. If you watch it, you'll probably get those feels, and it's got just moments of I guess with 90s, early 2000s cartoon esque feel sound,
Yeah, I think
and
that's what I like the most about it.
it really captures it really well. Even the first episode with the derpy characters, seeing everybody with the extra the extra muscle mommies and the cats and the bird say no every time. It's really fun. The first episode itself is 30 minutes and it's just fun. Then nothing feels weird or awkward. I love that. The whole literally it's 30 minutes of fun. Great little stuff on that one. You can tell there's a lot of passion behind it too.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know, like the way it presented itself. I wasn't really expecting much, but once it starts rolling, you kind of just get into it and just like I think the first time I remember watching it, I mentioned like a Saturday morning cartoons type of deal.
That
Like
is perfect.
it, it,
I
it, ha-
yes.
it has that vibe where you're just like, oh, what's this? Whatever, I'll watch it. And then you're sitting there and then you're like, wait a minute, I just sat through this episode and I enjoyed myself. So
Where'd my cereal go?
yeah, right. And I don't know, it has that charm to it where you just want to it takes me back. It definitely takes me back to some good times.
I think
And
go on.
like I love how the first episode kind of sets it up as like, oh, it's action and there's derpiness, there's funny times in it. And then uh like the second episode's more of like,
Kind of
oh,
an in
okay.
between.
Yeah,
There are consequences to the
yeah,
derpiness, you know. El bandito.
yeah. And then the third episode was just like, okay, we're keeping what you loved from the other ones, but now we're gonna get sad. It is like there's a lot of
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. I know we just resaw it to refresh, but it still gets you. It really
yeah,
does. The music, just the simple conversations, the fact that it literally points on something that everybody's got to deal with, which is letting go. But man, they were able to flesh this out perfectly. I've already seen this episode like what 3 4 times, and we just saw it again. And that moment in there, we're not gonna spoil it. Aside, it's letting go. It still gets you in the mood, and it still makes you feel that damn, that's the sad part for a Saturday morning esque cartoon with the comedy, derpiness, the characters. Even there's a lot of characters, which is really cool. Them living off on episode 3 the way they did is, it's still surprising. It really is. I honestly think that's part of the underrated part, to be honest, because I see people talk about it and they're like, "Oh, it's fun, it's great." They kind of have a vibe of how you're saying it. It's like a fun new show, but then episode 3, I know it's been out a while already. It really sets it back down. Like, yeah, it's fun. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, don't forget, you can cry, right? And it does the job.
there was like in the second episode there was hints that the man, I forget his name, the robot arm guy.
Cool.
Uh, yeah, there's hints that he respects life to an extent because how he was telling him, "Hey, you're gonna hurt it," and he was saying, "Well, it's just a plant," and gave him the
Yeah.
death stare.
Yeah.
But it solidifies. They went full blown like mature, even though it kept that immaturity in there. I like their balance because it doesn't make you feel wrong for caring, and you can still laugh at the chaos. And I think I like that because most cartoons force you to pick one, or movies will force you to pick. You gotta be sad and only sad. You can't enjoy this
Mm.
episode. And this episode starts like the other ones where it's like, oh, LOL, chaos, it's funny.
I want my
And
pizza.
yeah, and then towards the end, well, we got double feels because the loss of a friend and then their friendship solidifying. So it was like a double what if scenario. This could be us. What if we lose each other? But then this is also us. We're going to solidify it. So you get both of someone else's life and them losing a friend and then them solidifying their friendship. So you get two feels for the price of one this in the third episode. And like it
You
just
mean
makes
them
you want
growing
to,
as like a friendship, or him
yeah,
kind of oozing a bit of his past that he's been through the trauma?
I guess, man, like
Because
honestly,
that's
the
there
third episode,
too. Yeah.
yeah, like the third episode, I don't know, man. They set it up to make you want to be invested. It didn't feel overwhelming. Now that you sit down and think about it, it's like, oh yeah, they did do a lot in that episode, but it doesn't feel like I can't breathe. It kind of feels like I'm excited for
It's
the
a
next
it's a
episode.
it's a
How's it gonna
surprising way to
flesh out?
digest. I think that's what you
Yeah,
mean. It's all this, and you still go, what? Just done so. Maybe the tempo, or just they gave you just enough every time. Like almost like when you chew too much, you're eating too fast, but you're not choking, and it's just right there.
yeah, yeah. Like I like how palatable the episodes are, and they're not trying to do too much. And every episode kind of sets up the universe. Like you get to learn more about them, but then you also get to see more of the world every episode and other creatures, beings, and whatnot. And I kind of dig that. Like I don't know, I really like this show. I'm enjoying it, and I'm eager to see what's next. So for me, like I feel like I have nostalgia for it, even though it's like a new show. It's weird. Like
Yeah,
I feel like man, I can't wait. Like there's some 20 plus episodes or
tune
some
in
shit
next
already out
Saturday
there.
for the next
Yeah,
episode.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it is. This is a good show. I really dig everything about it.
They're gonna poke more, I'm sure. When they're arresting the crazy lady, and he's like, "You have the right to remain." And he just goes, "Hey, it's the right to remain silent. Everything you can't say will be used against you in the court of law. You're also offered an attorney." Oh, hey, thanks, buddy. Hey, man, you should do this. And he's like, "Yeah, no, not anymore." Like,
Yeah, they hint at his past.
he
You're
he
right.
he apparently used to be an asshole, and that means he was part of the police force. So there's these nuggets everywhere that are super simple, and some of are obvious, but no, like even you're right. I didn't think about how him showing some respect to the wildlife, even though it was a debris moment where they were like messing with the plants in the end. But like he has that, he's not completely selfless, and he'll kill other mercenaries, but he has a respect to those who obviously aren't doing wrong.
Yeah, the playing the guitar. He's in tune with life.
Which we did talk about that a little bit. This might get a bit nerdy, but it goes to that the frequency of life.
Yeah, with the type of what is it like? I know the standardized way of tuning the guitar is 440, but Jimi Hendrix was like 432. A lot of bands would play in that. Yeah, like there's different tunings that a lot of bands used back then, and they obviously had a certain feeling to their music, and a lot of the older stuff was also in those frequencies and tunings. And listening, a lot of people, it's a whole rabbit hole, but a lot of people would mention how newer age music or modern music
It
sounds
has
more
no soul.
depressing. Yeah, it's more depressing, or it's more robotic versus back then where everyone was lively, moving and jamming around, whether it was pop music or rock music. There was more liveliness to it compared to some of the newer stuff.
Which it might
But
be true.
yeah, for sure. That's one thing people should check out. It's a nice little rabbit hole if you want to go to that. But in the show, the reason why we brought it up is because how he's speaking to I guess, the mushroom creature thing, the fungus, and only way to be able to communicate was playing through song. And that's one of the rabbit hole things, speaking through the frequency of life. It's a cool concept.
God damn it! Every time, just like in fucking Coco. Ah, no, he's busting out the guitar. No.
Yeah, and then the sad feels came in at the end.
But I mean, to go back a little bit, it's a show that I think people. Again, I don't watch a lot of reviews. I really don't. Ever since I've been doing this, but the fact that I can happily say that there are shows like this that come around, but the fact that you can see this now and it just coming out to unfold, it's so it brings you joy. It brings me joy, and I'm happy to see other people watching and go, "What is this?" And it reminds them, like, Hey Arnold, or it reminds of like All Real Monsters, or Cowboy Bebop, even, and how to me it feels like it's Cowboy Bebop but derpy, but it still gets you to feel, which maybe I'm just a soft robot, but the fact that it's still able to do that in one
Well,
episode, I
yeah.
have to give it some respect on that, because some shows takes like a whole season to grow, bond with the character, and you're like, oh man, upset he died. Oh my god. But we got 30 minutes with different characters behind you, 4 or 5 characters, and we still, for me personally, I still felt for something in there. Even before in the second episode, I'm positive some people felt sad for that character. You know what I mean? When you see that happen and they kind of the cop kind of jabs at him, he'll be fine, but
Yeah.
it does suck that that's what happens when you're the last one. So there's it's not as heavy, but it's what happens. Or even in the first episode where it started super light, the no, no, and it's like yes, no, yes, like they do that whole awkward dumb moment, but it's I love the range. I love the fact that it's mature. I like the fact that there's no hand holding, dumb nods here and there, but also hands. It's just got everything going for it so far. I gotta say, it's great.
Yeah, I agree. I guess one last thing is I like how the show presents itself in a manner where you don't have to big brain it and you can enjoy the ride.
Mm.
But then if you are one of those types that wants to see everything, you can big brain it, and it also feeds that part of your brain because of the feeling parts, the what's going to happen to that guy makes you question what's going on in the background. It has a lot of setup. So it makes you want to it's like they the show wants to act like it's not trying, but it does a lot of foreshadowing that makes you want to be invested to see, oh, there's these set pieces coming in place. How's it going to come? Where is it going to come back? Or how's
That
this
is
going to
true.
affect?
Yeah.
So it kind of tickles your brain, and it has you enjoying it numbs you because you're like, ha, hello, well, dumb parts, ha ha ha, and then the big brain parts come in and you're like, oh man, it's kind of messed up, oh, this is sad, oh, the feels, and you don't know where you're gonna go. And I think that's why I'm really enjoying this, because it like I said, it feels nostalgic. It's reeling me in and wants me to, like, I want to be invested. I'm not forcing myself to be invested, and I haven't felt that way unless as when I was a kid, like watching DBZ or something, and I was like, oh, I can't wait for the next episode. This has me in a trance. I want to see the next episode. It's set it up. It has the second time watching it. Yeah, I have no issues with it. Like, I'm still excited for the next episode. Every episode has been pretty fun. I'm enjoying it still.
It just means you're a fan.
Hey man, it's hard for me to be a fan of anything. I'm usually a hater straight up.
I'm gonna buy you that Your Cringe shirt now.
Is that your persona? That's cringe. You're cringe.
Final send off. Birdie, last call.
I enjoyed the second and third episode the most. The first episode, good laughs. Enjoy the ride on that. Go check it out.
He's actually pretty right on that one. Have fun with the first one. Enjoy the setup on the second. And prepare your tissues on episode 3. A great little show that's deceptively fun. And honestly, it's more than it is. I'll just say that. Go watch it, humans. Go enjoy yourselves. Another great indie show. Monkey Wrench. Can't wait for episode 4. Good job, guys and gals. And yeah, go watch it. See ya, humans.